seconds away on Studio 5 from the wrestling ring.
Welcome to CFSM, Cars for Single Moms.
To the big screen, the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, is here with a look at his new movie.
I've always wanted to try acting, but I'd never wanted to do it while I was also wrestling. I don't consider myself a very good multitasker.
Also ahead,
the price for your glory is their suffering.
A look at Martin Scorsese's film, Silence. It will render you speechless.
The themes are fascinating to me, and they feel very vital and urgent for the times we're in.
Plus,
I'm Puerto Rican, but only speak a little bit, no habla.
Life lessons on the road to becoming the next big star in the rap game. With hip-hop legend Jermaine Dupri in Studio 5, starting now. And welcome to Studio 5. We've got lots of good stuff to get to, so let's jump right in with the week's top 5. For number 5, we begin here at this popular burger spot.
Well, I'm currently the president at In-N-Out Burger.
In-N-Out Burger president Lindsay Snyder takes a seat in the I Am Second white chair, opening up about losing her father as a child.
It wasn't until I was older that I realized he had a drug addiction from different surgeries he'd had and a lot of pain.
It's a loss that led her on a path of failed relationships, alcohol, and drugs.
I realized that I'm going to follow in the footsteps of my father and that I'm going to meet an early death if I do not get right with God and follow him, because the enemy just wanted to wipe me out.
At number 4,
everyone can suffer,
is Prince Harry, who graces the latest cover of Town&Country magazine and makes headlines for his call, "Saving Endangered Animals is God's Test for Humanity." He shared the observation while in Malawi for 3 weeks, working with the 500 Elephants Project. At number 3, remember this tune?
I can only imagine.
Well, Mercy Me's popular song, I Can Only Imagine, has inspired a movie, and actor Dennis Quaid will star in the upcoming film of the same name.
Surrounded by your glory, what will my heart feel?
This 1999 hit has sold more than 2 million digital downloads, been certified gold, and now a movie. Now to number 2.
I bet you wonder how I knew.
American Idol alum Danny Gokey has just released a new project. It's titled Rise.
I just wanna be a light, be a light, be a light.
Gospel recording sensation Kiara Shear joins Danny Gokey on the inspirational single Better Than I Found It.
Rapid fire love, rapid fire love.
Gokey will be taking this and his other new songs on the road, joining Casting Crowns on a 40-city tour. Now, number 1. Gospel singer Donnie McClurkin calls on Christians to unite and pray for the new president.
This is our president, and the Christian bodies who are protesting need to stand down now. And we need to follow the law of the scriptures and pray that he succeeds.
And for the rest of Pastor McClurkin's thoughts on the election, check out my Studio 5 blog. Longtime wrestling fans know Shawn Michaels as the Heartbreak Kid, but he has been out of the wrestling game for quite some time. So what's he up to now? We're sitting down with him this week for the Studio 5 interview. Haven't wrestled now for how long?
Coming up on 7 years.
Okay. Any thought of going back?
No, not if I can help it.
Good deal. How did you come to the Resurrection of Gavin Stone?
They always try to pay something.
Why don't you come over there?
No. Didn't you know who did it?
Yeah, exactly.
We don't want the credit.
I jumped at the chance. I thought it was incredibly interesting. And of course, I've always wanted to try acting, but I'd never wanted to do it while I was also wrestling. I don't consider myself a very good multitasker. I like to be able to focus on one thing at a time. And certainly it was a faith-based movie. It's one of those things where, again, as a believer, things you believe happen for a reason. I've never acted before, but I'm willing to serve the Lord in whatever way you see fit. I am one of those people I am guilty of drives my wife crazy. Creatively, artistically, things that interest me, I will do it. It's never been, honestly, that's what drove me to wrestling. It was only, so many years into wrestling that it became a line of work where you could actually make a living. And have a future. And along the journey, it got big and worldwide, but it didn't start out that way, and that wasn't what drew me to it. So it is. I've learned over the years that the good Lord has put in me a sort of weird. I call it an artsy fartsy type, aspect to where things that that I know that I'll enjoy. It's not something that I have to really make a living at or get paid for. And I feel like if it's done for the right reasons and is meant to be, that stuff will come in time if it's meant to be.
They say do what you love and the money will come. It will come indeed. So how difficult was it to make this transition to play this particular character?
Well, the one good thing is that Doug and I did have a lot in common. Our journeys to faith were similar. So from that standpoint, again, I was very comfortable in it. But I'm known as the wrestler guy, and so to be able to step into another role, to allow that to flow through you naturally. But then still be able to convince the audience that you are no longer Shawn Michaels, which I think is, again, it's all those challenges that intrigue me and what I enjoyed about the process. And so clearly it's always up to the people that watch the movie about whether I did a good job, but I do know that I really liked it. I really enjoyed it. And certainly if people, make the decision that I have done a good job, and the offer were to come up again, I would certainly do it.
You mentioned this character's journey of faith and your journey of faith. How would you describe your journey of faith?
Rough. Certainly. Until I came to the Lord, the journey wasn't easy. Again, in some ways it is a bit of that cliche story to where you experience all sorts of worldly success and success in your line of work, but personally, there's a huge void. What is not cliche about it is that my coming to Christ, it's now a public thing because I've told people the story, but it was nothing that ended up on the front page of a local newspaper or a mugshot or anything like that. It was a very personal experience in our home with our son and with my experience of being a husband and a father and seeing that I was failing at that and that bothering me to the core. And ultimately realizing that there needed to be change. And it's funny how you can have an awareness, but I'd heard the phrases being saved and born again, but I never really knew what they were, and really more importantly, hadn't experienced salvation and what goes on. But when you experience it, as I did, I've learned over the years that it's called a radical salvation, and that's certainly what mine was. I wept like a baby, but it was there, and it was there to stay, and it's whatever it is now, 15, 16 years later, it's still as deep as it was, all those years ago, which is a nice thing.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. So what's next? We've got the Resurrection of Gavin Stone. What's next?
Honestly, right now, it's this movie. It's Gavin Stone. And we'll see. Honestly, I'm at a stage in my life where I don't want to push any doors open. I'm sort of, I'm being still and knowing that He is God and letting Him open the doors that He wants me to walk through. I retired because I wanted to help my wife raise our children. That's what's always next for me, first and foremost. I do appearances. I still go back for the WWE. I do some things here and there. So I I don't know. It is whatever the good Lord has for me, and me welcoming that and going from there.
The Resurrection of Gavin Stone is in theaters January 20th. You can also read more about Shawn Michaels in his autobiography. Still ahead on Studio 5.
Andrew, straight ahead of you, please.
Andrew Garfield stars in a film raising big life questions.
What does it mean to live a life of true faith? Does the internal life of faith have to match up with external showings?
A look at silence is up next. Martin Scorsese is a brilliant filmmaker. His latest work, Silence, I've seen it and I can tell you it will render you speechless. In case you haven't seen it, here's your first look.
Our Lord said to them, "Go ye into the whole world and preach the gospel to every living creature."
My life was inextricably involved with religious thought, religious action, the embracing of it, the denial, the embracing again, all this over the years. Every one of these themes, I should say, affected most of the pictures I made, and it led to, let's say, Raging Bull, and led to Temptation of Christ, which led to Silence.
That's not possible. Father Ferreira risked his life to spread our faith all over Japan. Nagasaki was kind of known as the Rome of the East because it spread Catholicism, spread Christianity, spread so rapidly. And so you have a government that doesn't like that, that starts to feel like they can't see themselves or they're losing their history and wants to reclaim it, and are completely justified to behave how, whatever means are at their disposal to accomplish that, and even if that means killing people or persecuting people. And I think that's sadly very relevant still.
The moment you set foot in that country, you step into high danger.
It was great to work with Martin. Yeah, he's a wonderful artist. With Silence, he's very, very, I guess I mean sort of hands-on. He created a very, very special atmosphere on set, which was, and the backbone of that was silence. He wanted quiet from everybody, and that was quite intimidating to have a crew of, 75 to 100 people, all being quiet and just focused on the scene that you're about to do, It was the perfect environment in order to go into this story, to the subject matter of questing after faith, the nature of faith, the nature of doubt and faith being hand in glove with each other, which I believe they are.
The price for your glory is their suffering.
It's too dangerous.
We asked for this mission.
For me, when you're dealing with subject matter that has such a philosophical and religious impact, and you're trying to understand it, or at least trying to be immersed in it, to begin to understand it, then that keeps you going, because that affects your life. It isn't like you make a film and then, you live life a different way. It all comes together. So I've been very fortunate that some of the pictures I made have helped me try to sort out things in my own life.
Our mission here is more urgent than ever. We must go find Father Ferreira.
This is in your hearts, then, both of you.
Yes.
And I must trust God has put it down.
Silence is in theaters now. It is based on a 1966 novel from Shusaku Endo. Still ahead.
Good to meet you, Nova. Let's go and put this magic together.
Studio 5 has an inside look at the reality competition to become the next big rap star with hip-hop legend Jermaine Dupri.
I'm Puerto Rican, but only speak a little bit, no habla. Shorty only speaks Spanish, so I'm like Benacama. As soon as she approached, we had a connection like Wi-Fi. Switch it up, know the name. Nova the youngin' that's crushing any competition in my way. I'm getting paid, but the real me never gonna change. What are Jermaine and Jay? Money, anything, Nova.
Nova's rap started out going at the ladies. He was being a little smooth. To me, that's okay. That's not a true introduction, but I think it's dope that Nova hit us with the bilingual flow off the top to let us know that he's Puerto Rican.
That was Nova. He is one to watch in a clip of The Rap Game, a show where mega producer Jermaine Dupri searches for the next big teen rap star. And joining us right now to talk about the 3rd season are Jermaine Dupri and Nova. Thank you, gentlemen, for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Glad to have you. So, the show is in its 3rd season. Why is this such a hit, you think?
Because it's an education, and it's something that's not offered anywhere else on TV. It's also a group of individuals that people seem to forget about, but they want them to pay and buy all the music. You know, artists want all the kids at their concerts. They want all the kids to sing the raps and all of this, but when it comes to them putting out music, they forget that these kids need that education. And a lot of outlets, you know, they used to cater to giving this information and education about the genre, but the culture, but it's not plentiful anymore. You know what I mean? So I thank Lifetime. I can't thank Lifetime enough for allowing me to, you know, give this to the world the way that I am. And we are the only rap TV show out, basically. That's why it's so successful.
Well, Nova, how does it feel? You are sitting next to a living legend in the hip-hop industry, to work with him and to compete in this.
Yeah, it's amazing. This is my guy, Jermaine Dupri. You know, ever since I knew about the show, I felt like I was destined to be on it. And it's great working with JD on the show. It's basically a dream come true. You know, being able to do what I want to do with somebody so powerful in the music industry.
Jermaine, you seem to have a bit of a history and reputation for identifying young talent, including some of the mentors on the show. What's the secret to seeing what's a hit inside them?
Really just, you know, like I said, it's something that I learned about me at a very early age. Criss Cross basically instilled this in me to understand that I can see things, and if I move on what I see, they can be successful. And that's basically what I just started doing in the industry. I did that with Criss Cross, then I did it with The Brat, then I did it with Escape, then I did it with Jagged Edge, and then I did it with Bow Wow, and then I kept doing it with, you know, I did it with Usher. I noticed what it was that I had, that God that God had given me, and that's a gift to actually see things and try to carve them into being the best that they could actually be. I never actually change people. You know what I mean? You know, I have them do something that is within them already. Nice. I'm not telling you to change. Matter of fact, a lot of times I tell artists to do things that they do themselves that they don't even realize that they did. I just see it, and I say, you know what? Remember that time when you did blah 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 blah? You should do that again. And it's crazy because a lot of people need that in their life. They need people to remind them of things that they do. Because a lot of people do a lot of good things, but they overlook it trying to get to. You know, you think you got to do something different every day. Nice. You know what I mean? You think you got to do something different all the time, right? And it's just like me with these suits, right? I used to put a suit on every once in a while, but then I started noticing how the women talk to me a little differently. You know what I mean? If you notice that the women talk to you different when you put a suit on, then you're going to put it on every time. You know what I mean? So
tuxedo effect.
That's how I go. I mean, but really that's what it is. It's just like, you know, you got to pay attention to the little flashes that happen in life. And I'm the person that captures those and pays attention to it and says, you know what? I saw you do something the other day. You should probably go back to that. And then the artists think they think at first, you're trying to change me. This is what I'm the person I am. And I'm like, listen, I'm not really, you did it. I'm not telling you to do anything that you haven't done. You did this already yourself, right? Beautiful. And, you know, it's basically, that's why, even if you look at this season, that's why I brought Tally back. A lot of people don't understand that. First of all, it's my show. I can do what I want to do, so I brought her back. But secondly, I brought her back because I saw something in her that she possessed something, but she just hadn't had anybody to push her to get it out. And I can't expect these kids to come. I don't expect them to come to me at 100%. If they come to me at 100%, they don't need to be on the Rap Game because I can't offer anything. So they come to me halfway, and then it's time for me to fill up the rest of the cup.
I love it. Well, I tell you, season 3 sounds like it is the one to watch. It will include a visit from Minister Bernice King, the daughter of legendary civil rights leader Martin Luther King Jr. Thank you both, gentlemen. Looking forward to it January 13th on Lifetime. Up next.
I refuse to accept the view that mankind is so tragically bound to the starless midnight of racism.
Honoring and remembering an American hero with a special message from a member of the King family. And welcome back to Studio 5. Dog lovers, get excited. Our next Studio 5 is sure to have you barking with delight. Here's a sneak peek at what we're working on for next week's episode.
For me, it all began with a boy. His name was Ethan.
Bailey, 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 Bailey.
My name was Bailey, 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 Bailey.
No! Come on, Bailey, do it.
What does he want from me?
Get it out. Get it out.
Canines are the stars in the new film A Dog's Purpose. And this movie may very well change the way you see your own furry four-legged best friend. Just ask the actors.
I love dogs. I have 2 dogs at home.
Can't remember not having a dog, really.
I have a shepherd mix.
That's her. She's a mutt.
He's an American Bulldog Boxer mix. His name is Apollo.
My dog's name is Phoebe.
I don't think you'll ever look at your dog the same way.
And you can catch that full story next week. This week, we celebrated the Martin Luther King holiday. His dream was to see a unified America. So I'm giving today's final word to his niece, Alveda King. She shares a message about the importance of coming together.
My uncle, Martin Luther King Jr., said, we must learn to live together as brothers. And I added sisters or perish as fools. So if we can begin to see each other as brothers and sisters, younger brothers and sisters, older brothers and sisters, different skin color, one race, one family. And if we can see that, then our dreams, we can begin to have dreams and desires and visions of what we can be. And if we're able to love each other, then we can fulfill all of that together.
UNITY spells unity. Until next time, reach out and touch me at Ephraim Graham on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And then come on back and see where Studio 5 takes you next week. Bye-bye.